Green Desert here again, showing you how to save money, be healthy, and most of all, be more self-sufficient. I am here with Jake Mace, and you guys have to remember Jake, he is like an expert gardener. His whole backyard, I told you, it's like a grocery store, right?
Like a refrigerator.
You do what you can do.
I do what I can do. No, but we try to grow all edible things.
Yes.
Or medicinal things.
We can't forget about the medicinal.
Right.
So that's part of why we're here today, because we're talking about superfoods. And what's so great about superfoods?
Well, you know, as a home gardener, you want to use that precious garden square footage for foods that are going to jumpstart your health and your fitness and your longevity. Because I'm not really into gardening. I'm more so into growing food that's going to fuel my life.
And that makes sense, because a lot of people get excited about things growing and what am I going to plant. When you're thinking about what you're going to plant, you don't want to just think about the benefits of it nutritionally, but what you're actually going to use. Otherwise, you're not saving any money.
Correct.
Right?
So I try to grow a mixture of good fruits on my fruit trees that are delicious,
Yes.
and then powerful superfoods in my garden that are going to, you know, kick my health up to the next level.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So our first thing, we're talking wheatgrass. And I love wheatgrass because, guys, you can plant wheatgrass indoors, outdoors. It doesn't matter what the temperature is. So you're going to show us how to plant it right here in crates.
And I have been growing wheatgrass since long before I ever had a garden. Because you can grow wheatgrass in an apartment.
Right.
With no garden.
You know, we were talking about how much money you save by planting it yourself.
Correct. So what they say is, most studies say that 1 ounce of wheatgrass juice has the same amount of nutrients as, you know, half a dozen pounds of spinach. So that 1 ounce usually costs $3 at the juice bar, and it's really nutritious for you. But it costs a lot. I can grow an entire tray and get 10 to 20 ounces for $3 if I grow it at home.
Wow.
So way cheaper when I grow it myself, but you gotta put in the effort. The other thing is that when I grow it myself, I can grow it in healthy soil, which will actually supercharge the wheatgrass.
So you know exactly what you're getting, and what's also so great about that is you can have a shot and you get so many nutrients. So
right.
for those of you who don't like vegetables, I'd say go this way because you have to eat less.
And for people who don't like vegetables, you're gonna get your shot of wheatgrass juice and then have a shot of apple juice, pineapple juice, and orange juice right away after. So you take the wheatgrass, then immediately take the fruit juice.
It's like you're at the bar.
Yeah, it's like a chaser.
All right, so let's tell people, show people how easy this is to grow. So we start over here. This is our empty tray.
And all these trays are free. And I get these trays when I get plants from different nurseries and I keep them, right? So the tray looks like this when it's empty. I take some broken down paper bags from the store and I put them on the bottom. And that holds the soil in.
Okay.
Then I fill it up with soil, like this one.
Okay.
And then I go to any kind of grocery store, like a Sprouts or something like that, and I go to the bulk section, you know, where they have the clear plastic, you know,
Right.
tubs.
Well, you
of
save
stuff.
a little more money.
Correct.
Right.
And you go and look for the hard red winter wheat berries. They look kind of like this.
Okay.
And then you just take it and sprinkle it all over the tray on the soil. And then you could either, I would say, spread it about this thick. I'll show you guys how thick you should do it.
Okay. And so as you're spreading, how often do you need to water this?
Once a day,
Once a day.
maybe even twice a day. Keep it wet,
Okay.
but don't keep it in a soup.
Okay.
So keep it moist, but not in a
soupy.
pool, not soupy.
Okay.
And within 2 weeks, you'll have a whole tray of beautiful looking grass that you can cut and juice inside the house. So
Now, once you cut it, quick question.
Yes.
Once you cut it, does it keep growing, or do you have to keep
That's right.
planting?
No, it keeps growing. So I sometimes will get 2 or 3 trays, 2 or 3 cuttings out of one tray.
Nice. So you're
Yeah.
really saving money.
Correct.
Okay.
And when they grow it in a juice bar, they grow it in synthetic soil. So you don't know if that has nutrients in it, okay? So I take the seed like this, I'll just kind of rub my hand on it to make sure it goes underneath the soil, or you can just pour some more soil on top. And even if you can see the seeds, that's okay, because at the end, we're gonna take another bag like this, and I'll use this one too, and we're gonna actually cover it and keep it dark. And that's gonna preserve the chlorophyll, which is inside the green grass, and make it more nutrient dense. Plus it just, when it's germinating from seed, it needs the dark place.
Okay.
So what will happen is I will put the paper bag on top, I'll lift it up, and I'll either use like a spray bottle and spray it, or just water it. Put the paper bag back on when I go to work, and then in about 8 to 14 days, the grass will push this bag up about this high, and you'll be ready to juice it.
Okay, love it. So that's number 1. Let's find number 2.
Okay, let's go.
All right, so number 2, you haven't planted yet.
I'm getting ready to plant my winter greens.
Okay.
Okay, and winter greens are super important. especially right around now. We have things like your kales and like your kohlrabis and like your bok choys, things like this.
Yes,
Very
yummy
powerful.
stuff.
Yummy stuff, especially if you know how to cook it, like in a soup or a delicious salad, okay? That's the best.
All right, so let's talk about kale. So
Okay.
kale and these leafy greens, definitely nutritious. It's like a powerhouse.
Exactly, and kale can grow in a bed like this, which is in a little bit of a shaded spot, okay? And kale's great because it can take the winter, so it'll be freezing temperatures here in Phoenix, and it can be frozen, and once the sun hits it and thaws it out, it's still good. Plus, kale is so nutritious because it's dark green color, and they say that the dark green color is caused by chlorophyll, which is why we do the wheatgrass shots as well.
Right.
And the chlorophyll is apparently very similarly shaped in terms of its molecular structure as our hemoglobin, the red blood cells.
Okay.
So when you eat things with a lot of chlorophyll in it, like wheatgrass and kale and moringa, your body's able to convert it to red blood cells very quickly, raising your health up instantly.
Because it's like a natural thing for our bodies.
It's like natural blood doping. It is.
He's got all the lingo and everything here. All right, so these are the kale seeds.
So yeah, these are some of the dinosaur kale seeds that I've harvested in the past. Usually things like the kale thing look like little dark colored balls. And these guys will each grow into a plant that will be, really nutritious and very productive. So you could either just throw them all in your garden and mess all the dirt around and do a messy garden.
You get to play.
Yes,
Right.
or you can just kind of like drop 3 or 4 seeds every 6 inches.
Okay.
That's kind of what I do. I do 3 or 4 seeds every 6 inches, and I just kind of like go like that and just kind of barely massage them in, just barely.
So that way they don't have to work a whole lot.
Yes, now listen, for those people who want to grow a cheap garden, growing from seed is the cheapest way. Plus, I grew these seeds, and so they're free because I grew them myself. It's like printing your own money.
Right, so that's what Jake says. When you have that first garden, that's when it's going to be your most expensive.
Yeah.
But after that, there's no reason to buy seeds. Just harvest your seeds
Exactly.
and you're good to go.
Like
right?
a candle can share its flame with anybody at once, and a gardener can share their seeds.
Here he is with his analogies. All right, so this was number 2, and we know kale is big, but you say this next one is kind of taking the place of kale. Let's go check
Yes,
that one
it's
out.
the new kale.
The new kale.
Let's go.
All right. All right, so I know this is a Moringa tree because we like to dance to the
It's like a meringue.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? But what is this?
That's the seed of the moringa.
Oh, wow.
Now, these trees are very powerful because every leaf is edible,
Yes.
okay? You can actually use the bark on a wound like aloe vera. Okay, the leaves are edible and you can use them in a myriad of ways, like in stews or smoothies. You can juice them or make tea out of them or eat them on salads.
Love it. Yes, we put them in the salads. We actually make the kids, we just give it to them because it's not a bad flavor. It's actually kind of a good, different type of, what would you describe it as? What would we say?
I would say like a super nutritional kale. Like if kale was super nutritious. So it's not a strawberry.
Yeah, but I like this actually. This actually is better than kale. It doesn't have that bitterness at all to it.
Maybe kind of smoky.
Yeah.
A little smoky taste.
See, is he selling it? Is he making you want the meringue?
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about this tree because this tree looks pretty big to me. How long did it take to grow?
So this one is my newest moringa tree, and it went from seed to the size it is now in the last 9 months.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we planted it in December, and it's September now, so in almost 10 months, it's gone to almost a 15-foot tall tree.
Wow.
Yeah, so very rapid growing. And what I have found is that after the 2nd year of growing in the ground, I can stop watering them and let the Arizona rains water it 100% of the time.
And I found with our tree, it is so resilient. Let me tell you, my kids have thrown basketballs on it. They've rode skateboards over it, and it just keeps coming back. So not only is it nutritious, but it's resilient. And let's talk about some of the benefits because, when we originally planted our tree years ago, it was because we heard it was like this miracle tree. Like it just filled in any ailments you had. This took care of it.
So 2 things I hear said most commonly is that it's a multivitamin.
Okay.
It literally has more protein than meat and more potassium than bananas and more calcium than milk and more vitamin C than oranges. It has probiotics and anti-aging properties, all this kind of stuff.
You almost don't have to eat, just this. Right.
It'd be very boring, but
Right.
you would be very healthy.
All right, we still have enough.
But-
Oh, there's more.
They also say, some studies say it's the cure to cancer. Because they say there's so many enzymes and nutrients and different compounds in the moringa leaf that zap cancer cells that it's very nutritious for fighting cancer.
Wow, so this is definitely something you want to add to your yard.
And preventing cancer, right, exactly.
All right, so how easy is this to actually plant?
If you were gonna plant it in April or May, I would say put the seed in the ground, okay? But since it's September, keep it warm over the winter and plant it in the ground in April. So for now, get a 1 gallon pot like this, put some soil in it, and take one seed and push it down about an inch into the soil, cover it up, and water it until it grows about this tall. Keep it warm over the winter, and come April, put that little tree in the ground.
So how often are you watering?
I would say in the beginning, once a day, but as the tree gets larger, you can water less and less.
Okay.
But keep the soil kind of wet in the pot. In the ground, as it gets larger, it's very drought tolerant.
Yes.
And folks can get these seeds from jakemace.com.
Okay, love it. All right, so let's go on to another superfood.
I got a good one for you.
A good one?
Yes.
Let's do it. All right, so we all love flowers. They're
Yes.
pretty, they smell good, and you say, hey, they're edible, some of them.
A lot of them. And people that aren't eating flowers haven't lived yet.
If you're not eating flowers,
That's right.
you haven't lived. It came from Jake. That was his quote, not mine.
I think it's true. It's true.
Okay, so let's talk. What type of flowers? I know the moringa that we just talked about has
Yeah.
some gorgeous flowers.
So let me show you guys. The moringa flowers look like these white guys right here. And they taste very much like the leaves. And so what I want to inspire you guys watching to do is to eat flowers whether they come from a plant or a tree. Because there are some that come from trees, like pineapple guava. Okay, it grows really well in the Phoenix area. And pineapple guava grows incredibly delicious flowers. They taste like vanilla ice cream. And you will have friends over and you'll give the flowers to them, it'll blow their minds.
Okay, but we don't want to tell people just to see any type of flower and eat it. I mean, how do you know it's edible?
Right, you gotta listen to Jake Mace right now.
Listen to Jake, okay.
So any kind of viola,
Okay.
edible.
Okay.
Any kind of pansy, edible.
Fancy.
Right? Any kind of marigold or nasturtium.
And a lot of these flowers are considered superfoods in themselves.
I think all flowers are considered superfoods, plus flowers can be planted in your garden around the outer edges to encourage the beneficial bugs to come in. So put your marigolds and your violas and your nasturtiums on the outer edges. The good bugs will be attracted to those flowers and they will actually scare off the bad bugs like your squash beetles and your aphids.
I love it because
Yeah.
those aphids, oh, they got me this season.
And then they get me too.
Yeah, yeah.
So my edible flowers are like my moat, like a line of defense, okay? But also when you're making a delicious salad full of your greens with a nice vinaigrette and some of your moringa leaves on top, you can garnish it with those edible flowers and it makes it look beautiful and you're getting all those pigmentations of the flowers in your cells.
All right, Jake, and then herbs. Now, what's great about herbs is you can grow them indoors and they can be so easy to grow. They make you feel good about yourself, right?
People still go to the store and they buy $3 packages of like one leaf of a basil or something.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't waste your money. You worked for that money.
Look at all this basil. It
This-
grows like wildflowers.
And these are all varieties of cinnamon basil and serrated basil. This one's a lemon basil that actually tastes and smells like lemon. If you go like this in your fingers.
I can put this in tea. You
can.
That smells
Yep, there's many varieties. Plus, I grow other things in the wintertime like dill and cilantro, okay? And I've grown so much dill and cilantro that now, I'm telling you, it pops up on its own and grows by itself.
Volunteers, see?
Volunteers.
How can you say it's hard to garden or that it costs too much money if it just comes up on its own?
Exactly.
Right?
And then we were talking about plants that are easy for beginner gardeners to grow, and what's
Yes.
the ultimate beginner plant?
Mint.
Mint.
That's what I was saying. It gives you so much confidence because no matter what you do, it's going to grow.
Yes, and of all the mint varieties,
Yes.
my favorite is chocolate mint, which is what's
Ooh,
growing
let's take a
inside
look.
here. This is a combination of spearmint, peppermint, and chocolate mint. And so
Chocolate mint?
chocolate mint is so good, and mint will take over, which is why it's in its own raised bed.
Yes.
And this mint usually will die back a bit in the summer, but it thrives in the spring and the fall. And there's nothing better than just kind of garnishing your drinks or your smoothies with some mint. I have found that any fruit smoothie that I make, any fruit smoothie, is enhanced. A little bit of mint and basil. It's so good.
Oh, yeah. Look at you just eating on the job.
I know. That's what I do.
I love it. I love it. So guys, so much information. I always love coming to see you, Jake, because I always learn something new. So thank you.
It's
as
always great.
usual.
Thanks for coming to
All right, thank
my
you.
garden. Yeah, thank you.
And
as
he
usual.
danced with me and everything. Thank you guys for watching. So there you have it. You're saving money. You're being healthy. You're being self-sufficient. That's what we're about at Green Desert. So don't forget to share our video. Right?
Absolutely. Share it, hit like, and comment down below, and I'll get in there and answer some comments.
Yes. All right, guys. So we're going to eat.
Let's do it.